I'll be in the Upper East Side of New York City today, and I have a craving for some steak. And not just any ordinary steak. One of those porterhouses that you get from steakhouses like Luger's, Keen's, Gallagher's, or Delmonico's. Plus, I wanted to balance out the menu with the offerings of restaurant. And those that are not familiar with Restaurant Week, it's one of those deals that you get that many restaurants participate, especially during slow times of the year. So based on those two criteria, we're heading to TBar, and T stands for Tony. We walked in during lunchtime, and it was quiet. We were greeted and brought to our table and seated quickly. We prepped our taste buds by looking at the Restaurant Week menu first. At the same time, we asked if they made mocktails, and the server responded yes. That made Irene very happy, as she was not looking for just a zero-proof drink, but something that was crafted by a good mixologist. As a side note, I think non-alcoholic cocktails are more common, but not all establishments have that as part of their repertoire. And this passion fruit concoction was delicious. The top of this menu had the lunch prefix at $45, and it felt like a good bargain based on the descriptions underneath. And the server responded with an excellent choice when Irene said that she'll have the yellowfin tuna tartare, the grilled Atlantic salmon, and the warm apple crisp. It was my time to order, and it felt like a very good day to start with the octopus. And then I said, I'll have the Porterhouse medium rare. The server smiled and looked surprised, as I'm guessing not too many have ordered the steak during lunchtime. Why? I don't know. And I ordered mixed grilled vegetables for my side. A few moments later, the bread service arrived. This reminded me of biscotti, but it's really how they cut the focaccia, lengthwise. I loved how the olives brought brininess to the bread. And the fat from the olive oil enhanced the overall texture and mouthfeel. The second option was rosemary, and the herbaceousness smell was so good that it increased my appetite. The texture of the crust was spot on. The dining room matched the pictures online with a very modern and sophisticated decor of smooth lines. Some might consider it luxurious. I'm going to reserve my thoughts on the atmosphere of the establishment for the recap, since they just brought out our first course. Let's start with the octopus with fingerling potatoes. The bowl smelled delicious. The combination of the seafood to starch was excellent. The octopus was tender and not too rubbery like some places make. The taste was mild, seasoned perfectly, and worked well with the char. And the diced celery provided that crunch factor. Next is the tuna tartare, which smelled just like the ocean. Really, really fresh. Okay, let me build up the tuna tartare on the Italian bread. Now, pause the video and comment below if you think I'll take 1 or 2 bites. The tuna was fresh, with a little salt, olive oil, and lemon for acidity, with the crispy wonton skin and the soft white part of the bread. Then the bread crust made for a tasty, pleasurable bite. I'm sure they could have brought out extra Italian bread, but I had the rosemary focaccia and the olive focaccia. Might as well use it, and let's see how it tastes. And I will say, all three breads were winners with the tuna. But one thing I always love to learn about these businesses, about any business, is to learn about some kind of historical fact. This place used to be a townhouse. Unfortunately, not much was known of the residents, but I can only imagine a wealthy person walking up and down the stairs as he or she was an executive at Bloomingdale's, which is right around the corner. Anyway, the additional floors currently serve to expand their seating and use of the space for parties or for something a little bit quieter. As we prepare for the main entrees, I thought about the business side of things, as it now has 3 locations, one in Roslyn and one in Southampton. And you think about it, all 3 are located in very wealthy neighborhoods and run by the Bacal Hospitality Group. And they manage a bunch of bars, restaurants, as well as event spaces, up to like 20,000 square feet, all appointed with sleek decor. With that much experience, you can tell that they trained their team to be attentive, and I wish Tony Fortuna, the original owner, was still around, as the staff talked about him so kindly, as they mentioned that he just passed away in January, and will be missed. Let's get started with the surf before the turf. The salmon flaked off from a perfectly grilled fish. There is a fine line of being overcooked and undercooked with salmon. This is how salmon should be cooked. With the julienne zucchini, watercress, and the honey mustard, tasted amazing. If it wasn't for the steak, I would order another piece of fish. Are you ready? My senses were primed by the sight of the caramelization. The sizzling hit the right tunes for my ears. The smell of the beef with that clove of garlic was intoxicating. I could not wait for the taste and mouthfeel. That first bite exploded with aged funk, as all steaks should have. The texture was tender, but firm, as I expect from my steaks. I like to have some kind of bite and chew. I almost forgot about the veggies. They are definitely there to round out the digestive system, which my body needed. But the fat from the steak was calling me. I'll share my final thoughts, as I just want to be present for this steak. The steak was accompanied by 3 sauces. The béarnaise was creamy with tarragon, notes of licorice, and slightly peppery. The au poivre was also creamy, definitely was peppery, with a sweet cognac finish. The steak sauce was similar to what Peter Luger serves, which is a little sweet with a little tomatoey acid.
Mmm.
And, of course, the dessert. The warm apple crisp arrived, and I kept on thinking about the steak. But there is something that hits home with apples, baked dough, and crumbles with vanilla ice cream is a solid combination. This is so good. Before I get to my thoughts about TBar, the check was $299.41, and with an $80 tip, the final tab came to $379.41.
What?
Overall, I really enjoyed that TBar experience, and they delivered a solid steak. But did they deliver on a steakhouse experience? For me, it didn't really have that old school charm like Peter Luger's or King's or Delmonico's, where we have some wood paneling. And being a century old, it's just something you just can't replicate. While everything we ordered was cooked just right, I will say that if you're going to a steakhouse, I don't think you need a wide variety of menu items. So if you're going to call yourself a steakhouse, just focus on the steak. However, I do think that next generation would probably prefer something like TBar with a lively club-like feel and a menu to match a younger crowd with a different palate. It had kind of a hip feel similar to Korean Steakhouse. Again, the steak is better than most. And with so many steakhouses in New York City, I can say that TBar will be in my rotation. And stay tuned, and as I really want that steakhouse feel, I most likely will go to King's or Delmonico's next, as it's been a long time since I've been there. If you like this video, you will really enjoy this one on the classic Pia Lugers. If you want something more modern, here is my Korean Steakhouse video. And if you're still hanging on to the last minute of this video, please click the like button and comment below what your favorite steakhouse is.